Whatever you say, whether they get a deal or not, it's historic. How are you looking at it?
I mean, from investor point of view, we don't have a huge expectation for this meeting, not necessarily because we don't think it's important, but simply because it's very difficult to predict what could happen. Many experts, security, foreign affairs experts talked about it, but I guess consensus is that this is kind of event which is predictably unpredictable.
You are head of Korea research, and what we have talked about over many years has been the Korean discount because of the fear of there being a large war. And that is something that we're waiting to see how much that discount was. How would we ever know what it was, actually?
I mean, it depends on how you...
If this all goes well and everything's, hunky-dory, we should know then, shouldn't we?
Yeah, first, there was a specific risk premium priced in last year, like April, remember?
Yes.
And then September, October. At that time, there was a real concern that something could happen. And at that time, when you look at like a CDS and dollar Korea volatility, there was a certain risk premium priced in. But now that already gone. I mean, by now, so it does not move much. Although CDS moved down a little bit further, like a 4 or 5 basis points over the last 2 days. But then, if your ultimate question is what could happen to Korea discount equity market in the event of in the market we call it big blue sky scenario where everything breaks through and then normalization, U.S. embassy in Pyongyang, etc. We don't think that's reachable in the short term, but if that happens, our estimation is that about 10% of KOSPI could be reflecting that part of geopolitical concerns. Therefore, there will be some rally based on that.
Absolutely, and you would maybe see even further strengthening of the won, maybe, and that would mean that your returns would be even better if you're a foreign investor. Now, that's one part of it, but whenever we used to have a test or a rocket firing, we used to see this amazing reaction with South Korean defense stocks. What happens with them?
I mean, obviously, April, September was a big event, and but when you look at history of North Korean military actions or tests, market kind of tend to discount the significance of that event for a while, and then last year, when Trump got in, and then Kim Jong Un ratcheted up the military, in a way, kind of escalation, then market began to notice that. But even that case, still we didn't see huge lasting impact on the Korean assets. Although I have to say that I think September was quite serious at the time. Some investors began to take hedge positions. But since October, November, then it quickly kind of subsided. Now, that's why, despite the historic event today, market does not move much because market already kind of discount the risk of military conflict very significantly already much earlier. And then going forward, there could be some upside, but nonetheless, that subject to the outcome of this summit, which is quite unpredictable, and also, more importantly, follow through, execution, implementation, given what happened to Iran, etc. Even though there is a big breakthrough agreement for denuclearization or agreement on, let's say, roadmap, still market might want to see how that goes through.